Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go ahead and go over the rules of exponents, but we're going to cover the power to a power. Now, what does it mean? First of all, what is a power? So if we take a look at the power, we're talking about the exponents, right? We're talking about these little exponents up here, right? And a power to a power would mean that you have an exponent, right, outside the parentheses. So you have an exponent, and whatever's inside, the term that's inside, already has an exponent. So that's why we have power to a power. So the rule says here, when you have power to a power, all you have to do with the chiquitos on top, which is the exponents, all you have to do is multiply them. You see how they're together right here? Right? That means we have to multiply them. So whatever the numbers are, the rule says power to a power, you multiply. So let's go ahead and do some examples so you guys can see what I'm talking about. If you take a look at number one, we have x to the fifth raised to the fourth power. So remember, we have a power to a power. All we have to do is multiply the exponents. Remember, you're going to keep the base, keep that one right there, and then 5 times 4 is 20. And that's it, right? So very easy rule, very simple rule. Let's go ahead and work out more examples because not a lot of them are going to be look as easy as this or are going to be as easy as this. Take a look at number two. Now remember, we've talked about it several times that if you don't see anything, right, you don't see an exponent, we know that there's a one, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put a one just so I can know that it's there, or I can see that it's there. Power to a power, we multiply, right? So I'm gonna keep the y. 1 times 2 is 2, right? So my answer would be y squared. Let's take a look at number three. We have z to the fourth raised to the third power, power to a power, so we multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so when you have one letter, pretty easy to do. All you have to do is multiply the powers, the exponents, and you're good to go. Take a look at number four. Now we have a coefficient, which is a number in the front. We have a little 2 right there, right? We have a 2 right there. Now remember, even though it's a number, just a regular plain old number, this one also has an exponent, right? It has an exponent of 1. So be very careful because when we have a power to a power, it's kind of like distribution. We have to multiply with all the exponents. We're going to multiply the 6 with all the exponents on the inside. And you can take it step by step, coefficient and letter by letter. Let's go ahead and work with the 2 first. So we have 2, and then 1 times 6 is 6. And then x 2 times 6 would be 12. Now you can go ahead and leave it like that, right? You can go ahead and leave it like that, or you could actually simplify this expression, right? I'm sorry, let me go ahead and remove that one. Let me use a different color. We can simplify this expression right here, right? And remember, what does 2 raised to the 6th power mean? That means you're going to multiply 2. You're going to multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. How many 2's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we need one more. Times 2. You're going to go ahead and multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 6 times. So let's go ahead and do that one. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Whoo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I went a little overboard. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16 times 2 is 32 times 2 is 64. So I think we did 6 right there. So this one should be 64x to the 12th power. Let's go ahead and do number 5. Remember that what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go ahead and multiply, right, with all the exponents on the inside. I'm going to put a 1 right there. So 3 times 4 and then 3 times 1. So let me go ahead and work this one out. 1 times 3 is 3. And then 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so let's go ahead and work this one out. 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 should be 27. So what I did here was I multiplied 3 with itself 3 times, right? That is what that means. So I'm going to have 3 times 3 is 9, times 3, 27, and then n to the 12th power. Okay, let's go ahead and work out this one. Now remember, guys, that I'm going to go ahead and work out the power to a power. So I'm going to multiply this one with this one right here. And we have -1 times 4. So what's going to happen here? Let me go ahead and multiply these. Negative times a positive is a negative. And remember that if you watch the other video, every time we have a negative exponent, if we want to make it positive, all we have to do is send it to the bottom. Of course, I'm not going to leave the 1 on top. I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 up there. Okay, so this one right here is a special case. We had to use one of the other rules that we learned in the previous videos. Take a look at number 7, guys. Let's go ahead and work this one out. We have a negative and a negative. So negative times a negative, negative times a negative is a positive. So 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So we don't have to do anything there. We're done. Now, what happens if they give you more variables? Instead of just one, well, you just treat them the same. Remember, you multiply with every exponent on the inside. We have 3 times 5 is 15. And then let's work with the y's. 3 times 5 is 15. So there you have it. We have x's, we have y's. We cannot combine them, so we're good there. Let me go ahead and put a 1 here where we have the z for number 9, just so I know that there's a 1 right there. Let me go ahead and start distributing. Let me go ahead and do that one first. 2 times 2 is 4. Let me do 2 times 4 for the y. That's going to be 8. And then I'm going to work with the z. 1 times 2 is 2. So there you have it, guys. All you have to do is distribute, multiply, right? Power to a power, and you're done. Let's take a look at number 10. Now, if you remember, we have a 0. Remember, if you watch the other video when we work with negative and 0 exponents, every time we have a 0 exponent, what I like to do is just take it out. Because remember, that's going to turn into a 1. And when you multiply 1 times anything, it's just going to give you that same number. So I take it out. So let's go ahead and work out. First of all, let me put a 1 right there. So I know that that exponent is a 1 and I don't miss it. I'm going to go ahead and multiply 1 times 4, right, which is 4. And then 4 times 2, which is 8, right? I can go ahead and simplify this one if I want. I'm going to have to multiply 5 times itself 4 times. So let me go ahead and bring out my calculator. Let me go ahead and do 5 times 5, that's 2, times 5, that's 3, times 5, that's 4. So it would be 625, and then you keep the m to the 8th power. Okay, guys, so there you have it. Very easy to multiply, or when you have power to a power, all you have to do is multiply. The assignment is going to be very similar to the problems that I just did. So if you have any questions, you could always message me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.